My husband and I was having one of those heart-to-heart moments where he shared with me just having a woman who believes in you increases your confidence. And he has seen in his real life how that has also translated to more money. My name is Asha Sekhmet, and I am a thought leader, spiritual guide, Tantra practitioner, and my purpose is building up a sovereign community. We are the Maji Community. We practice polygamy, tribalism, sovereignty, and living free. All right, so I want to share for this particular video, we're talking about how Black men can elevate economically in America through spirituality. Now, these principles that I am going to give can be applied in other places, but I am going to be sharing based on my experience as a Tantra practitioner, right? I work with men, and particularly Black men especially, on healing through the art of Tantra. Tantra is energy restorative practices, okay? And so I have 3 things that I listed out that can help a Black man grow economically through spirituality. So let's frame this from the perspective that if you are what you consider a Black man, you are a water man. Now, this is based on the language that we use in the Maji Community Life System. This just means that there's characteristics to your being that is different in nature and design than other racial groups of hominids, okay? So one of those things being spirituality and sexuality. These are our gifts as water people. So the first thing that I would list out to elevate economically through spirituality is Tantra. I have seen such extraordinary things come out of Tantra in people's lives. People who look like me, Black and brown people. It has been amazing. I was in a community of people. I'm going to give some examples. I knew of a man who was doing very extraordinary Tantra work, and he ended up getting this real estate business and he's either in 6 figures or 7 figures by now. He's doing phenomenal things. I also saw a man who used Tantra itself as an income. That's just what he do for a living. He take care of himself. He lives good. And that's what he does for a living, right? So the other aspect to it is purpose too, right? But Tantra itself, right? If you are a man healer, right? Tantra can be a beautiful thing to add on even professionally. But I also would highly recommend you get Tantra on you as well. So I would highly recommend, as a Black man in America especially, to learn Tantra and to get Tantra done on you. And especially if I lay hands on you, then supernatural things is coming out of that, okay? Because I get the work done. I get the job done, activating your full masculine potential, helping you attract high quality feminine women, and repelling anything in your life and removing any obstacles in your life that keeps you out of alignment with yourself. Okay, so Tantra is the moving vehicle for that, right? Tantra is the catalyst to getting us in complete alignment with our purpose, our soul, awakening the supernatural parts of our DNA. I knew this woman who gave a testimonial in one of our Tantra retreats, and she said she got out of $100,000 of debt in 1 year, and she attributed to Tantra. That is absolutely amazing. And these are extraordinary things. I know of a woman who became a millionaire, and I knew of a woman who lost 200 pounds of weight getting Tantra done on her. This is absolutely amazing. So again, Tantra, I would say, is number 1. I am my husband's healer. So yes, I do Tantra on my husband, and he have seen the benefits of that in real time. Tantra acts as a spiritual armor for you as well if you take it serious. It is a sacred practice. And what do I mean by take it serious? It's a sacred practice. So just honor that it's sacred, right? So if you're going to take the time to learn it and then apply it, into your life, you'll see the benefit that comes from it. Okay. And then also for myself personally, my personal testimonial was getting Tantra sessions done consistently. I would say within the first 4 months, I was able to have $8,000 off my debt that came out. Like literally, it was just amazing. And that was off my student debt. So that was a blessing, right? And it came in the midst of me getting those consistent Tantra sessions that I was booking with someone that I know who is a professional Tantra practitioner as a man. I was a Black man, of course, I love my healers. But yeah, I trust him, and he was getting the job done, doing the Tantra work on me. I was receiving virtual sessions at this time because we were located in 2 different states, and it just made more economic sense for me to get the virtual sessions at least 1 to 2 times a month. And I saw I got $8,000 just off of my student debt within that period of time that I was going really hard getting those consistent sessions. And not even to mention being where I am today, right? Being where I am today, being in a loving marriage with a man who honors me, and I'm able to be a wife. I'm able to be a business partner to my husband, and us really working towards the goals that I would envision and he would envision collectively for community building and us coming together and elevating, getting, wealth and really just owning in on our own inner sovereignty. Like I am where I am today because of Tantra, right? And it is beautiful. And like I said, and if I'm laying hands on you, it will be extraordinary things happen. I have testimonials on my Instagram, and you can look at them from men who have received Tantra from me. And like I said, it's just a beautiful thing. And sometimes they're just amazed. And they're like, I'm kind of shocked, because this is something new, right? This is new. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful practice. Okay. So number 2. The next thing that I would say for a Black man to elevate economically through spirituality is to get a feminine woman that you are building with. Start with one. Start with one. I understand that by and large, for Black men, it is in your DNA to be polygamous, and that's a beautiful thing. Of course, you all know that I support that. And, that's what we practice in the Maji community. So start with getting the feminine woman. If you start first building with that feminine woman, she can attract, of course, the tribe and the legacy of your polygamous family eventually building out. If you start with the right one, right? And I understand in this day and time, I understand where times are at, right? I get where the modern world is, the way that modern women are. And so this is where the leadership of the Black man has to come to the forefront, right? You can find a feminine woman and pick her through, but you will have a responsibility to teach her, right? Because we're all somewhat of some products of this environment, right? We've all had some conditioning. Every day I'm still reconditioning myself and fighting, right? That white woman in me. What do I mean when I say that? We're born into a white culture and ideology. We speak English. That's a white language, right? So I'm constantly have to go within and fight that so that I can make sure I'm staying rooted in my indigenous DNA. Okay. So learning the Maji Community Life System and the different aspects of it that we have is so enriching, because as a Black man leader, you can use this to help your feminine woman that you are guided and attracted to do. As you're doing that inner work that can be given to you, right, and paired with you, you can put in that work, and she, can meet you there and help you build up. So getting a feminine woman, my husband mentioned this to me in our heart to heart, where he's just like, I just feel so empowered. He's just like, I feel like I can just do anything. Like, just having the right woman by your side, you could just feel like you could do anything. And that can be overlooked sometime in this world that's so obsessed with monetary value. That's not really the value in and of itself, right? Currency is not biased. It's just a frequency. We all have the right of access to it, right? So if you go to these spiritual principles, right, then you will, by the laws, attract abundance to yourself, right? So you got to put in that inner work, okay? And I'm just giving insight. And of course, I'm not a specialist in the different sectors of the financial realm. However, in the Maji community, we do have financial experts that we are connected with, in a team that we work with in our community that we can connect you with. So if you would like to learn more about group economics and other ways of getting your money to work for you in this economy, then you can schedule a wealth building consultation with me. All right. And then the Maji Community Consultation, you can also schedule that. We can talk about a multitude of things that I talked about in this video in either one of my consultations. So just schedule with me, or you can DM me, and I can always, guide you towards what service is best. My husband had shared with me how he made the most amount of money in the last recent month than he's made in a really long time in his life. And this contributes to the wifehood skills that I have invested in learning over my 20s that I give important to my husband, and believing in my husband. As he stated, this is something that makes him feel empowered and that he can do anything. Do not underestimate the value of having a feminine woman in your life that is helping you build up in your confidence, in your leadership, and helping you be in your purpose. A woman that is a wife can help you live in strong legacy, helping you be a strong masculine leader of your family. I would highly recommend your wife or your potential female partner invest in the Indigenous Wifehood course, education that we provide for superior wifehood skills in the Maji community. The third thing that I would say a Black man can do to elevate economically through spirituality is to overcome possession. Now, this one is not the easiest to convey in terms of it's so many ways that a human can possess, and it's not that apparent, right? Sometimes people think that a possession comes out in a very clear way that you can understand, but it's spiritual. So I would say, let's first start with what is possession. Possession is ownership. That's like, so with your mate, this is a spiritual law that you cannot possess another human being. That is a violation of natural law, and there's spiritual consequences for doing it. Now, in this day and time, I understand that the matrix system supports a violation of nature, a spiritual. I understand that it violates that. However, it's a matrix, right? So in order for you to operate in understanding this spiritually, you could technically be in a monogamous relationship and not possess. But it's very difficult. I understand the matrix system is not reflective of the natural laws that govern the universe in supporting nature, right? So, however, with that, we have to understand with our third eye how to overcome possessing our mate, especially if you were a Black person who did not grow up in wealth. Then you could have these underlining issues of possession of your mate and not be fully aware of it. It comes out of scarcity, and it also comes out of your ego persona. Now, some ways that we can minimize this is to learn indigenous wisdom. So Tantra is something that you can use as a practice to help you overcome this, right? Meditation, becoming more aware, being able to overcome any patriarchal thinking or white man misogynistic subconscious thinking that you have. We've all been born into this in some ways, again, are a product of these environments. So we have to constantly work to recondition ourselves. If you are not born into your native culture and native language, then you best to believe you subconsciously are still fighting all those conditioning that you were taught, and especially with ownership of your mate. So this is important because you will block wealth and prosperity to you if you can't overcome this. It just is so deeply spiritual. You may see a Black man with a certain amount of income and wealth, and you not really truly understand how he may not have that issue of possession, right? In my first marriage, my first husband, he didn't really have that issue of possession because he grew up in a certain amount of upper middle class income. So as you know, some people in his family are millionaires, business owners. So he didn't quite have those kind of issues. And so I've been able to identify it versus like if I'm working on a client and they did not grow up in wealth, then he may have some underlying issues of possession over his mate that he's not even fully aware of. He may not even be fully aware of it because he may not have a mate at the moment, right? But these are deeply spiritual principles. These do come out of your ego, right? So if you could just work on that, then that'll help you get to, removing any toxic or sabotaging beliefs or thought process that you have. And then that way you can make room for a more abundant, peaceful, and blissful life, right? So we want to be in alignment with our soul and our purpose. And in that way, you can definitely generate income, and especially if you're working in a family, right? You're being a husband leader. You are, working in your family, building up, contributing to your community. And then at the same time, you're working towards alignment with your soul and your purpose. That's going to automatically put you in more of a frequency where currency comes towards you and wealth builds up. All right. So I hope that this was helpful. Let me know any thoughts that you have in the comments. I would love to hear, your perspectives on anything that I said. I'm just sharing my insights, my perspectives as a Tantra practitioner as well who do this work. And also, let me know any questions that you have. You can schedule a Tantra session with me. You could be anywhere in the world and receive a Tantra session with me virtually. And it's just as effective, right? Because in that realm, when we're dealing with energy work, space doesn't exist. Okay, so again, I have testimonials for this. You can schedule a Tantra session with me, and you can also, if you want to learn Tantra and apply it in your life and start living it as a lifestyle, you can get a Tantra training session with me, and then you can get Tantra certified. Always be on the lookout for upcoming Maji community events, because we often have events where you can learn the Tantra techniques and the other aspects of the Maji Community Life System, right? I have businessmen, like professional men, who also get Tantra services from me that I have testimonials from, that elevated, in their career endeavors and things of that nature, and they were melanated men. All right. So definitely the sky is the limit. And it is such a beautiful practice, and just so much extraordinary things come to your life when you invest in your soul alignment with Tantra. Okay. And then also you can schedule on my website, ashasekhmet.com. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next video.